What's up, YouTube? This is Two Raw for TV. So I noticed there's a lot of people that say that, like, Charles Oakley is a bum and shit. Charles Oakley a bum. And I know what it is. A lot of younger people aren't familiar with him. Google him, look at his numbers, and make a snap judgment based upon that, not realizing that some players um, have certain roles. In college, a lot of these guys were stars. You know, they were stars on their teams, but in the pros, especially back then, you played a certain role. Charles Oakley with the New York Knicks was mostly an interior post defender, paint protector, uh, enforcer. He was not high on as far as the totem pole when it came to scoring, but he had a dependable baseline jumper. I remember out to about 12, 14 feet maybe. Shot about 48 to 50% most seasons. Uh, his rebounds were down a bit with the Knicks, partially because the New York Knicks played a slower pace than the Bulls did when he was with Chicago, and also because he was sharing rebounding duties with guys like Ewing, McDaniel, and Mason, and Charles Smith. So his rebounds were down a little bit. Um, but with Chicago, he averaged for his career, I believe, with the team 12 points and 12 rebounds. And the 87-88 season was his best year of his career statistically. I believe that year he averaged 13 points and 13 rebounds. And what gets forgotten in history is that he finished second in rebounding that year to Michael Cage. I mean, it was close. Like, it's one of the closest rebounding uh, battles, if not the closest in the history of the NBA. It came down to, I think, the last day of the season or the last games for each respective player. Now, I think at that time, Michael Cage was playing with I think he was playing with the Clippers. That's when Michael Cage had that Jerry curl. And Michael Cage won the rebounding title. He just edged out Charles Oakley by pulling down 30 rebounds in his final game of that season. Okay? Now, Charles Oakley, in his final game with Chicago, which was, I think, the day before, I think it was the day before, his final game with Chicago that year, Charles Oakley scored 26 points and grabbed 35 rebounds. A bum's not going to do that. A bum is not going to give you a 26 point, 35 rebound performance in the NBA. A bum is not going to average 13 points and 13 rebounds. Okay? A bum is not going to be a well loved New York Knick for a decade and be an integral part of a championship caliber team based on just luck. And by the way, Charles Oakley's 35 rebounds is second only to Tom Burrowinkle, who had 37 rebounds in the game. Second only to him as far as franchise history. That means he's had more rebound. He had more rebounds in the game than Nate Thurman ever did with the Bulls, or Artis Gilmore ever did with the Bulls, or Ben Wallace ever did with the Bulls, or even Dennis Rodman, whose career best was 29 in a game back in December of '97 against Atlanta Hawks. So no, uh, Charles Oakley was not a bum, and please stop saying that. And I still maintain that if the Bulls never traded Charles Oakley, I get people said they had to do it to uh, go forward because Horace Grant replaced Oakley, and They had to get a scoring center. But I maintain that if they kept Oakley and kept Grant in a secondary role and then eventually phased out Oakley, but if this cheap ass fucking owner and the general manager had signed Moses Malone, who was a free agent, who was better than Bill Cartwright, I think the Bulls would have won championships starting in 1990, not 91, because that the bad boy shit, they wouldn't have did that shit if Charles Oakley and Moses Malone was on that front line. Believe that. They wouldn't have started that shit then. They started doing it. They started beating up on Michael and punking Bill Cartwright and punking Pippen when the enforcers were gone. But you got Big Moses Malone and you got Charles Oakley on the same team that's an improving Bulls team. Yeah, I see them overtaking the Pistons in '90, not '91, and maybe we could be, we wouldn't be hearing Isaiah Thomas so fucking much with his one fucking ring to Mike's 7 or maybe even 8. But anyway, that's a whole nother video. Tell me what you guys think.